Welcome back to Cooking State Bird Provisions. Sorry it took so long to put this video out, but this was a little bit difficult to edit. So this recipe is actually two recipes, the salted chili paste and the chili oil. But there's also this kind of bonus vinaigrette recipe, and I was trying to figure out if I should put in this video or the next one because the vinaigrette recipe is so easy, but I decided you didn't want a 1-minute video. So I'm going to make a longer video with all three recipes. So let's get started. You're gonna need about a pound of Fresno chilies. If you can't find this, you can go to Asian grocery stores, and I actually found this at a Safeway for pretty cheap. First thing you're going to do is remove the stem from the chili. I love heat, so I'm leaving the seeds and veins in, but please feel free to remove them. Once you're done prepping, place all the chilies in a blender and blend on high until it is as smooth as possible. And that's looking pretty smooth. The next step is to separate the solids from the liquid. And the book says to use a fine mesh sieve, which I don't have, so I'm going to use a piece of cheesecloth folded a few times. And it seemed to work pretty well. The cookbook is a little unclear at this point about what to do next. Do I let it sit? Do I squeeze it? I'm very impatient, so I'm just going to squeeze the living hell out of it. And basically, you just keep squeezing until no liquid comes out anymore. Here's a not-so-secret life tip. Do not touch your eyes after doing this. You're going to be in a lot of pain. Look at how vibrant that color is. It smells really good too. So this will be saved for the vinaigrette recipe, but I'll do that at the end of the video. You can place the juice into a mason jar and keep it in the freezer for up to 1 month. The next part is pretty chefy. You will weigh the solids, and 10% of this weight is going to be the amount of salt that you will need, because we're going to salt cure the chili. That's how we make salted chili paste, get it? I plan on putting everything in a mason jar, so I'm weighing the jar and also the lid, because if you plan on sealing it, you need to weigh that too. Place the solids in the mason jar and weigh everything all together again. My scale is not super accurate, so I'm just rounding all the numbers. So the end weight is 540 minus the 440 that I weighed before. So you have 100 grams of solid. 10% of 100 is 10. So you will need 10 grams of kosher salt to cure the paste. Mix everything together and seal it tight and let it sit at room temperature for 3 days. Once you're done curing, we are going to cook the solids. Make sure your windows are open because this is going to burn your eyes. So I have about a cup of solids here. The book says that you are going to use double the volume of that in grapeseed oil to cook the chili paste. The book says to next place it in a medium saucepan and cook over medium heat until it gently bubbles. I skipped over that part. I turned it to the lowest setting possible. And next is to cook it for 3 to 4 hours until it is pretty dark. It specifically states the longer the better. So I let it go for about 4 hours. And oh, it tasted amazing afterwards. The caramelization, the intensity, it's totally worth the cooking time. Once it's done, you are yet again going to use a fine mesh sieve to separate the paste from the oil. Now I was at my parents' house because they have a lot more ventilation and they didn't have a fine mesh sieve, but I did find this kind of, I guess tea strainer, or not sure what it is, but it worked just fine. I think you can use cheesecloth too if you wanted to. All right, transfer the paste into its own jar. And there you go, you have the State Bird salted chili paste. Transfer the chili oil into a jar. And there you go, you have the State Bird chili oil, all ready to be used for future recipes. And you can keep both in the refrigerator for up to 1 month. Bonus recipe time. So I'm going to make the red chili juice lime vinaigrette. It's pretty simple. You only need lime juice, salt, grapeseed oil, and the chili juice that we had set aside earlier. First ingredient, 2 tablespoons of fresh lime juice. Next ingredient, 1/4 cup plus 2 tablespoons of the chili juice. 2 teaspoons kosher salt. 1/3 cup of grapeseed oil. Whisk everything until well combined. And you can store this in an airtight container and keep up to 4 days. Thank you for bearing with me through this 3 recipe video. It just didn't make any sense to make 3 separate videos when the original ingredient is the same. I gotta say, the vinaigrette, the paste, and the oil were so good that I used it in my normal everyday cooking rather than just in state bird recipes. So I highly recommend making all of these, even if you don't plan on making any dishes in the future. Again, thank you so much for watching.